Mark Hughes is the new manager of Stoke City Football Club. He replaces Tony Pulis, who left the Potters at the end of the season after 7 years in charge.
Well, Hughes told a media conference today he's determined to prove his critics wrong. His appointment is not without controversy, as our sports editor Nick Clitheroe reports. And just a warning, his report contains flash photography.
My intention is to take this club forward, to take the team itself forward and make sure that we're successful in the future.
New manager, fresh start, but some things in football never change. Mark Hughes has got the shirt with his name on it, but has he got the backing of the Stoke City fans? One man drove around the city earlier this week publicising his opposition to the choice, but not everyone is so despondent.
I think he could turn out to be a good appointment.
I'm not really pleased with it. I think we should have given, obviously, Tony Pulis another year.
I think it's going to be a good signing. It's just got to give him a chance.
Of course, there is an element of risk in this appointment. Tony Pulis did a fantastic job here, taking the club to the FA Cup final and into Europe. Mark Hughes has got big shoes to fill.
I went into a similar situation when I got my position at Fulham. I was following Roy Hodgson, who'd done a great job there. And in the year that I was there, I got them to the second highest ever position that they've ever had in the Premier League. Following a successful manager into a club actually shouldn't be a hindrance, it's a help.
They'd grown used to Tony Pulis after 10 years as manager in 2 spells at the Britannia Stadium. But expectations rose and the style of football grated on many supporters. Mark Hughes spoke today of his desire to entertain the paying spectators. It's the message his chairman wants to hear.
We want improvement, and yes, we want to finish as high as we can in the Premier League, and we want to do well in cup competitions.
Stoke say Hughes was the outstanding candidate for the job. Now he has to repay that faith.
And Nick is here now. Now, I know that Stoke are very keen to point out Mark Hughes' strong managerial record, but many blame him for QPR's relegation from the Premier League, don't they?
They do, because he kept them up in his first season, but then bought a lot of players and it didn't work out, and he only lasted 12 games the following season. But the Stoke chairman, Peter Coates, described that failure as a blip today. Hughes himself pointed to the fact that at similar clubs to Stoke, like Fulham and Blackburn, he'd been very successful, and he has stressed his philosophy has always been to play entertaining football, and he wants to bring more goals to Stoke.
So what's your gut feeling? Will he change the style of play? Will he get the fans going?
I think he possibly will do. I think that's what they talked about, a new direction when Tony Pulis left. That's what they desperately want at the club. The fans were getting a bit fed up, really. After a few years of keeping them in the middle of the table, when he was down towards the bottom end last season and the football wasn't producing many goals, they'd had a bit of enough of that. So
Stoke have finally got their man. Any news of a new manager at Molineux?
Well, I think we could be getting pretty close, Mary, you know, for once, because the Crewe boss, Steve Davis, has now said he's staying at Crewe Alexandra, and apparently Steve McLaren, the BBC, has learnt today, didn't impress enough to get a second interview at Wolves. So it looks like Kenny Jackett is the odds-on favourite, certainly with the bookmakers at the moment, and we could see his appointment next week because they need to get on with the process of rebuilding that club after a disastrous season. It's a big summer for Wolves, and they need to get a man in soon. They want to get the right man, but they need to start rebuilding if they can.
Kenny Jackett was a strong favourite at the beginning,
Indeed,
wasn't he?
Yeah,
so
we thought he got it buttoned up.
Yeah, oh dear, thanks for that. Cheers, Nick, thanks very much.